Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations Unplugged. And today we have a very, very special guest whom I'm really privileged to introduce to you all because he's a very dear friend to me and a source of inspiration to many people. Her name is Rosie Kalita. Actually, I should say Dr. Rosie Kalita. And if you see her now, you won't believe that she is actually an action packed top cop of Assam. So she is the Superintendent of Police, known as the SP of Chief Minister's Vigilance Cell. And we will get to know more about her. But most importantly for me, she is a very, very good human being. And she is a very good friend of mine. And in spite of her very busy schedule, she has agreed to be a part of this show and I'm very thankful. So, Rosie, can I start by asking you to please introduce yourself?
Yeah, good evening, Bhaskar. Good evening, everybody. Uh, yeah, please, you can start with some, especially like some leading questions because I'm very bad in, opening up myself. So,
Okay. Okay. So, tell us a bit more about where you are from, and yeah, a bit about your family background and about yourself.
okay. So, I have been a very mischievous kid in my childhood, and I was born in Shillong and brought up almost up to class 5 in Shillong. Then we were shifted to Guwahati and we are settled here in Guwahati. My father worked in the AG office. So when the capital shifted to Guwahati, we had to shift to Guwahati. And then I did my schooling in St. Stephen's School, Guwahati. And then after that, I got myself enrolled in the science stream of Cotton College, and that's how I met you uh, in Cotton College. Thereafter, I went to Assam Agriculture University in Jorhat for pursuing my agriculture bachelor's degree. And uh, after that, I was working in school as a teacher in Carmel School, during which I felt like I have to get myself settled down properly because that was not my type of life. I always wanted adventure and I always wanted, to work in the field. And since I was very much mischievous during my childhood days, I always wanted something, even though I was mischievous, I was enrolled in the karate school by my parents so that I can vent out my energy. I can channelize my energy in a proper way. And then after getting my black belt, I was the first Assamese woman to be the recipient of, to be the black belt holder in karate from Assam. And then because of karate, actually, frankly speaking, I learned about disciplined life, the uniformed life, about concentration, about time management, everything. When you learn karate, you tend to become a disciplined person because initially when you start practicing karate, first of all you have to meditate for 5 minutes, even though your mind might go haywire everywhere, distracted, but still you have to keep on meditating, thinking about God and thinking about everything, like like my children go.
Mhm.
Okay. And then meditate and then think about the whatever you had done during the day and what mistakes you might have committed knowingly or unknowingly, and promising yourself that you will not commit that again. And if it was a good thing, promising yourself that you will repeat it every day. So that is how I discipline my life from my childhood. And then I wanted always to be in a uniform service because of karate, and I always thought of going and joining the police service. So then I started preparing for the state civil services. And of course, there is a phase in between. After doing my graduation in agriculture, I wanted to go to Delhi to, for coaching. And but my parents, they couldn't afford. They said, we have got 4 children. You have to study here, do hard work here, you will be able to crack it. And because of that, I regret to say I was very much, spoiled brat actually. I thought, muk jabo ni dile, since you didn't allow me to go, so I will not appear in UPSC ever. I didn't appear, not even once. But I appeared for the state civil services, and in the first attempt, I topped. But since I opted for the police service, so I joined the police services. And then in the year 2004, I joined the police services. And here I am today, juggling my life between office, uh, as an officer, as a mother to my twin children, and then as a wife and as a daughter-in-law, because we stay in a joint family. We still stay in a joint family, so we all stay together. My mother-in-law passed away 2 years back. Father-in-law passed 5 years back, and so, but still we stay together. And it's loving, caring family, and because of the family support, I'm able to, dedicate my time in the services of the people. So here I
This
am.
is this is just so wonderful. Uh, you just started by saying that you are very good in speaking, but within one question, you have given me the complete definition of the word called completeness. Right? So it's just absolutely brilliant. So I'm just so honored to know you and know you so closely. Yet I didn't know all of this. So
Yes.
the very fact that is I think you are probably the personification of the word that just don't go by the looks, because I mean when somebody looks at you, nobody would think you are a superintendent of police, or you are the a black belt in karate or something like that, right? So definitely. So and you touched on so many things within these last 2-3 minutes, right from the fact about discipline and martial arts, topping in every exam that you have done, um, making friendship, lifelong friendships, living in a joint family, having juggling different roles, and each of them equally important. So there's so many things to talk about. So let's try and explore a little bit more. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it's not an interview. It's just a, as the name goes,
Fine.
it's Conversations Unplugged. So it is just about talking to one another to find out a bit more in a way that it would be a source of inspiration or heartfelt for other people as well.
Yes,
So
Bhaskar.
tell me a bit more about your journey from science to agriculture, and then you did a doctorate in English as well, right? And then also in police. So
Yeah.
quite a lot of detours. So was
Yes.
there a reason for these detours, or you just took it as they came?
Actually, uh, after cracking the state civil services, I only did graduation during that time, and I was the only person in my family who was the least, with having the least educational qualifications. My brothers and sisters, they are all PhD holders. They are in the colleges, head of the departments in English. And so I thought I have to, at least complete the masters. And then since agriculture will not fit into the police services, so I thought, let's do something which will be, helpful in policing. So I did my masters in criminology. And then after completing my master's, I thought it's wastage of time, whenever I used to get time, I keep on reading. Even now, I still keep on reading books, whatever books I have in my hand. And then I felt like I have to pursue LLB. And I did my graduation in law. And then after that, I thought, okay, now I should take myself to the next level. And then I did my PhD in counterinsurgency operations and its ramifications in reintegrating the insurgents back to the mainstream. So after that, I thought it's not over. Let me do something more. Then I pursued LLM, and this year I completed LLM, and I'm really very happy to say that I was first class second in the university in LLM, and it's very helpful. Frankly speaking, it's really, really helpful in policing. When you have the knowledge, you are empowered. You know, you have that power in your writings. It's not about the batons. It's not about the guns. It's about the IQ. You don't have to
Absolutely,
be a
yes.
PhD holder. Yes, you don't have to be a PhD holder to be a good police officer. You just need to have the IQ. So it helps actually. Whatever the studies that I have pursued, it's helping me in furtherance of policing. Like, let me cite a few examples. Like, whenever we arrest a person, now, presently, I am posted in the Chief Minister's Special Vigilance Cell. So we register cases. I've got one police station under my jurisdiction, and it has the jurisdiction of all over Assam, and that is Vigilance Police Station. And we register cases against the corruption charges committed by government servants or maybe the government contractors. So, whenever a person of that magnanimity is arrested, so it's not like I ask the officer in charge to arrest him and forward him to the jail. That doesn't suffice. You have to bring the whole thing into a logical conclusion. Like, you have to write the case diary properly so that it ends up in conviction. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a matter of like arresting somebody and then putting him inside behind the bars. You have to, when a person is arrested, we have to, being a senior officer, so we have to lead from the front. It's not that I ask the officer in charge to, to write properly. You do that, you do this, and I'll just sit back and watch him. It's not like that. Therefore, I always prefer, writing the bail objections. Whenever a person is arrested, he will definitely file for a bail, because bail is a right, jail is an exception, so it says in the law. So whenever they file for bail, they submit a petition. So I bring that petition, a certified copy, from the courts, from the respective courts, be it the special court or the high court or supreme court, and we get the bail petitions, and pairwise I write the bail objections, one after other paragraph. Why we are objecting his bail, so that we can complete the investigation properly, so that he is not able, the person, whoever wants the bail, cannot hamper the investigating procedure or temper any evidences. If he is bailed out, then he might create a lot of nonsense. So that is how I always insist. I always tell my juniors also. So you don't just speak out. You don't just tell your juniors to do this and that and just sit back. You have to show your leadership quality. You have to lead from the front. You have to work from the front. And that is how, like, the law and my PhD is helping me a lot for, proper investigation procedures. So that is
Amazing.
how, like, I ended up doing these. It was not necessary actually, but I wanted to further my career in uh, proper policing.
I think all knowledge is education, right? Although all education may not be
Yes,
knowledge, but all knowledge is education. So
yes,
everything more
that
you read, every single
absolutely.
page extra you read gives in something more to learn. And from
Yes,
right as you said, I mean, you talked about the leadership in the real way, because
yes,
when you ask others to do something and you sit back, then you are just exerting your power over your subordinate. But if
yes,
you're telling them, "Okay, let's do it," and you are leading by example, that's when you become a real leader, right? So,
absolutely.
and one thing which you have mentioned, and I think that is really important, and I've seen that in the UK, being in UK, and I think the same applies for USA as well. So, I mean, whenever you arrest a person or get someone, any case is registered, then they have to do the test of. I think that it has to meet certain thresholds.
Yes,
According to court, to meet the prosecution threshold. So the crown prosecution is it's called His Majesty. Here it's called the His Majesty's Crown Prosecution Services. So they have to meet the certain thresholds. Only then uh, a
mhm,
case will go towards to the court. Otherwise, the
yes,
CPS won't even prosecute it, and therefore the whole police resources and everything gets wasted, and
yes,
people then flaunt the system and they leave. So I think it is really really important, and I think especially for all the police officers in the state, and perhaps all civil servants and everything, it is a very important lesson that you have to record everything, you have to write everything down, you have to know the letter of the law, literally, so that you can give the best service. And otherwise, to me, people will then just otherwise they will just flaunt the system. So because the other defense lawyers and everyone um are just there just to look into these loopholes and get the
yes, yes.
people out. So so I think it's absolutely amazing when you've done so much, and as you said, because you know all this, so you don't have the fear. So you know to do it the proper way. That's why probably your conviction rates are high as well, which will also mean that your service record is better. So it is definitely something for your juniors and for your peers to know. I mean,
But
I'm not from the police, so I'm
yeah,
as a layman, as a doctor, I've been asking, and I can see that. I mean, there's so much merit in what you have said.
but it takes a toll on in your probably in your life, in your children's lives, because since I micromanage some of the works, which I can, of course, delegate to my juniors, but since I don't leave everything to them, so a lot of it's a time consuming process. So
Absolutely. That is
K
that
two
is that is very true. I think just like
it's
you,
a
I
focus
used to
third, yeah.
micromanage. I used to
It,
micromanage and work 15, 16 hours a day. So it is a
yes,
very fine balance of what you delegate and what you micromanage. I think the key word would be prioritization. So you keep the key things to yourself and you give some of the other work to somebody else. But
yes, yes.
but it is important that you still oversee it. You still
Hmm.
oversee it because I think that I've learned that the hard way. When because there've been so much work, and you perhaps may know that I was running 5 different clinics in London,
I
and
know.
therefore at one point I stretched myself too thin, and I still
Mm,
wanted to do everything myself. And then I thought, no, I'm going to employ more people, and I
mm,
started leaving jobs for them, only to know
mm.
after a week that the job hasn't been done, and I still had to do it and pay them on the top. So, so it is. I completely understand what you're saying. So,
Yeah,
uh, but a bit of delegation is unavoidable. It is about finding the right person, the right infrastructure, so that
Ex-
you can delegate.
yes.
And I hope
Mhm.
that the system will bring up more officers of the kind that you are. And I think there are officers. Sometimes I
Yes.
think most people who join the police want to be a good policeman. They don't want to join the police to become a corrupt policeman, but it's the system that makes them so.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully things will get better with time.
Changed, of course.
Yeah.
It has changed a lot. Now, like because of our honorable chief ministers, grip over the whole thing, like he has empowered us to go absolutely all out against corruption. So we all are like, every day, every single day you will find some such type of news in the newspapers or the electronic media, like the whole system is cleansed actually.
That's
So,
very
and
good.
moreover, yeah, and moreover, the people, the new entrants, they are also of good caliber and quality, and they know actually what we want from them. So, quality work, we are getting quality work from them. So,
Mhm.
it's really very, win-win situation now.
Fantastic. I think it is about exactly as you said. It's about breaking the pattern, right? So
Yes.
it's about breaking the pattern. There used to be the time when, I mean, I've been in UK for 20 years, and just until 5 6 years ago, they still used to know Indians as being the land of snake charmers and all sorts of things, right? But now, whether it is because of Modi or the way India has progressed,
And
people
the
have started
sanitation,
seeing India in a different light. There
yes.
are the most, I think at least 30 big companies have got their CEOs from Indian backgrounds. Yeah, so
Yes.
and also I can see a difference in terms of the of the pride in a country of being from your country. So that
Yes.
is something which was not apparent in India before, but now people are beginning to become proud of being an Indian, which is a great thing. In India, corruption has been a religion as a such, in a way. So, but things are changing. There's still a long way to go, I think. But at
Yes.
least you can see the shoots of the green shoots, as we say. So, which is great.
Ah,
And within India, I think if you remember back 20 25 years back, I think I remember when I first went to Delhi to do my first job after finishing internship in 1999. We were doing night duty in a hospital, and I was asked by someone, says, "So is Assam the capital of Dispur?" So it was so it was that sort of thing. So they didn't know anything about what Northeast is.
yes.
They used to think we are part of China or we're part of Burma, that sort of thing. Yeah, so they didn't even know, and I think I probably looked like a tribal, and so they were like, many people used to even here. They ask me if I am from Malaysia or
Bhaskar,
Mongol. Sorry.
let me interrupt in between. Like a little small thing. You are talking about the layman, the civilian. Forget about them. Once I attended a training in CBI Academy in Delhi, UP, sorry, UP. There, one lady officer, I won't name her and I won't name the state. She was of the rank of SP. She asked me, in fact, I've heard people of Assam, they are cannibals, they eat human. Then you know what I said? I touched her hand and I said, you look very fleshy. You'll be very good to munch upon. Since the first day, and after that conversation, she didn't even turn to me and talk because she was afraid that I might eat her up.
Mm, mm. Which is very sad, actually. In a way,
Very sad. Very
it is
sad.
really sad. Things are slowly changing, but I can, from my own personal experience, I can say I have probably faced more racism in India than out of India. I mean, the word of chinkies and all
Right.
sorts of things.
Yes,
But at the
yes.
same time, we must also say that we as Assamese actually did not do ourselves any favors, because
Mm-hmm.
unlike, and that is something I have seen in this country. I mean, if you talk to a Gujarati or a Punjabi or even a Bengali person, as much as they talk, and they would be like eating, drinking, and everything, and speak with the same British accent, but
Mm-hmm.
they are so proud of their culture, they would maintain
Yes.
that culture. Whether it's a Durga
Mm-hmm.
Puja in London, whether it is
Mm-hmm.
the, I mean, when I have Gujarati people coming to my restaurant and everything, they have a real respect for their culture. But we
Mm-hmm.
Assamese don't.
Ah,
But I hope
mm-hmm.
there will that thing be at
Mm-hmm.
some point, because we are very good in getting in assimilating other cultures into ourselves,
Mm.
but we're not able, we do
Yes.
not take a pride in who we are, and I think that is very important. For some reason, our prime minister has taken a liking for the gamusa, and he wears the gamusa, and that is,
Yes. Wherever he goes,
it has been,
it,
he keeps coming to Assam, and he has seen Northeast, and maybe as a potential threat because that's the corridor to China or whatever reason. But Assam has got a new identity in the last few years.
yes,
So,
yes,
and people
yes,
have now begun to know what Assam is,
yes.
but or what Northeast is. তার আগলৈকে তো মানে it was hardly anyone really knew what was going on here. We were just a valley
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
surrounded by hills on all sides, people who eat dogs and people who have snake charmers and all sorts of things. So yeah, definitely. So we have come a long way. There is a long way to go.
Come along.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So 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 tell me a bit more about your family. So you got twins. How old?
Yes,
Yeah,
they are in class 10 this year. They have just,
brilliant. Okay,
yes. And they are in Maharshi Vidya Mandir. It's
okay,
very much nearby to our residence. And my husband is in the State Civil Services. He is additional commissioner in the Guwahati Municipal Corporation. And we all stay together. So we have got brothers, sisters-in-law, and their children. So
okay.
a happy family staying
Fantastic.
together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is again an important thing, isn't it? Because I mean, more and more, um, it's all becoming nuclear families, right?
Yes.
And we ourselves have seen coming to a
Uh,
new country and settling ourselves, where we have to even assemble I mean, flat packed tables and chairs and all that. And now, especially with me being disabled, it's very difficult because Megali has to do everything. So I think having that family support is really important. But it is
yes.
being able to keep those
Yes.
bondings, and I think one of the reason why probably you're able to do that is because you've done so many studies, you've read so many books, and you have seen so many things in life that probably those small egos don't matter anymore, right?
Absolutely.
And it is actually these small egos that leads to friction and then breakup of families and stuff like that. So families,
And we have matured down the years actually.
yeah,
Now we are going to be, in the 50s. So it's when I look back, I find certain incidents very, minuscule. Like ইমান ধৰি থাকিবলগীয়া কথাই নহয় এনেকুৱা যেন লাগে সাধাৰণ কথা দেখোন চব
exactly.
হা
Yeah,
and
yeah, I mean, because of people's egos, that those small things can become big things.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
I personally, again, I know, I think that the day I had my life changing injuries, or I was diagnosed with the cancer and everything, then all those small things didn't matter anymore. So now even
Yes.
somebody passes a comment of me being a cripple or something, it doesn't affect me. Yesterday we were talking. in the restaurant. So, and there were quite a few people. They were talking, and they said they call me BB as a Bhaskar Bora. So they, I mean, the English find it difficult to call my name Bhaskar all the time. So they just call me BB. So they just say, why don't you ever get angry? I
Mm.
do get angry, but now I'm just numb to all these things. It just doesn't
Mm.
matter anymore because there's
Doesn't.
so much more to life, wasn't it? Than being worried about these things. And I've seen amongst different societies and things like that, everybody wants to be a general secretary, everybody wants to be a president or whatever small or big groups they are, and otherwise they won't do the work. Yeah, so nobody
Mm.
wants to actually do the work, but they all want to have a recognition to put the name.
Mm.
So so for me now, probably those things also meant to me at some point, but now it's
Mm.
like I'm very happy to be a foot soldier. That's the best I can be. Yeah. So because you can have your recognition even while passing on the road. I remember just day before yesterday, my restaurant manager was with me, and he was like, Bhaskar, why are you driving so slow? Why have you let the other person overtake you? I said, that's fine, man. Let him overtake you. We will catch him up in the next traffic light. So it
Yes.
is that sort of thing. So that is the analogy to life as well, I think,
Yes.
isn't it? So
Mm.
what is the point? Why do you have to fight on the road with someone, and then you get caught in the next traffic light? So let him go. I'll go. I'll chill out, and I will go. So it's that sort of thing. So,
True, absolutely true. But you have got a lot, I learn a lot from you, like how to
thank
succeed
you, thank you.
in life. I have learned so much from your life. I have gone through your book. I have known you since the last 30 years through our common friends. So people, when they will understand you, they will be able to, they will be able to understand what life is actually. You are a successful person. The success you have achieved with your own, effort, nothing from anybody. No, nothing. Actually, apart from your wife, of course, she has
I
been
think
there.
I think that is true. I mean, I don't know about the success bit, but one thing I'm proud about is that I'm a self-made person. I'm a
Yes,
self-made person, just like you
that,
are. I'm also a
yes.
self-made person. I haven't come up my way by somebody's reference or any inheritance or anything like that. Whatever I made, whatever I've earned, or whatever I have lost now, it is all by me with the
Mhm.
help of my wife because we worked extremely hard,
Mhm.
and now we have been fighting a very tough battle for the last 4 years, nearly 4 years. But hopefully it is a phase, like you say in English. I mean, this too shall pass. So we are hoping that this too shall pass,
It
and
has
we
already passed. It has already passed. Don't worry.
now,
You are a
financially, things have
happy,
been quite
healthy.
difficult.
No,
Financially, things have been quite difficult, but
but
I'm
is it,
hoping
Bhaskar? Yes,
it will be
yes.
better at some point. I mean, by grace of God, I mean, in spite of not being able to work or earn for last 4 years, I've still been able to maintain a decent enough lifestyle for my family, and not a
Mm-hmm.
single penny is black money. That I
Mm.
am so proud
That
of. So
is
therefore,
so, yes, that is
I don't
so
have to
very
fear
success.
anyone. Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't take anyone's favor, so I don't have to return those favor because I think that is how the whole cycle builds up, right? I mean, somebody takes someone's favor to get a job or get something done, and then they have to return the favor, and that's how the whole system gets corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So I can stand
Absolutely.
up to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you can do the same as well. So, and there are very few people who can do that. And to me, I mean, there are lots of people. See, at the end of the day, I think we are all control freaks, right? We all like to have control, whether we admit it or not,
Mm.
whether it's in a good way or a bad way. And everybody loves a bit of power,
Yes.
but
That's
very
that's true.
few people know what power actually is.
Yes.
isn't it? Power doesn't
And where
mean
to draw the line.
exactly where to draw the line. So, and I think for me, power is to have the freedom to be able to say yes or no at my own will. That is power.
Yes. That is power.
Yeah.
That is
It is
power.
not being able to beat up someone. It is not being able to earn lots of money by dubious means, but it
Mm-hmm.
is the freedom at the end of the day, so that you are
Mm-hmm.
not under anybody's pressure. That
Yes.
you have to release a criminal because you have taken a favor from that criminal at some point. For example, or
Yes, yes.
in my case, it will be difficult, different. Yeah, but it is the thing that that is actually real power, to be able to do something good for someone, to be able to have that freedom. And yeah, I think one thing I had learned from one very senior surgeon when I was working in Apollo in Delhi. um, he told me the day you will know you are a good surgeon is the day when you know when not to cut.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Wow.
you will see, including many of our friends, or many doctors also. I mean, you go to them, the first thing they will suggest is ki you have to have this treatment, you have to have this surgery, you have to do this, because that's the only way they would make money. But
Mm-hmm.
from this person, I have learned that if you are really a good doctor, you are really the surgeon that you have wanted to be, then the first thing you will think is how not to cut this person. And
See,
that is
such
something which stayed in
a
my mind forever.
mm-hmm. Mm. It's
So,
very difficult to find such type of doctors these days. Earlier doctors used to, hold our hand and touch it, and they will, prescribe medicines.
mm,
Nowadays, they will write lot of, tests you have to undergo. এইটো test কৰিব লাগিব, সেইটো, and then only they will prescribe medicines, and that to a huge, big list.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. See, there are again that same thing comes into play. Somebody has taken a favor from the medical representative, so you have to repay that medical
Oh,
representative.
yes.
Somebody has invested a lot of money in building a hospital, so you have to have you've been given a target to have that much of returns for the hospital. So those sort of things. I didn't have
Mhm.
any of that. So I don't. Even now, people say, "Why don't you build a hospital in Assam?" I said, "No. One thing is I can't be there. Second thing, I don't think I'll be able to fit into the system. I'll just get
Mhm.
I'll just get blown away." So
Mhm.
doctor to me is actually, there are lots of research papers, and one of the reason why I chose to come to UK rather than going to USA was because of the socialistic system of medicine that used to be here. Of course things have changed, but here it's a state run healthcare. So therefore, and there was a lot of impetus on research, so called the National Health Services. So basically, you do your work, you get paid your salary, that's it. You don't have to fight with one another to build up your private practice, and you have to falsely bill someone and all sorts of things. And you won't believe, we are still using amoxicillin and paracetamol as the first line of treatment. People in India don't even remember
Oh,
those drugs anymore,
yes,
because
yes.
they
No
start from
longer.
the fourth line treatment first. Yeah, so
Yes.
and the people will understand the harm that has been caused because of drug resistance in a few years. Uh, but there have been so much of research, and one of the top things is that the doctor himself is actually a drug. If I can behave properly with my patient, half of my patients will get better just by my reassurance itself.
Uh, Absolutely correct. When the doctor, he touches, he pats our back, you feel like, oh, ভাল হয়ে গেল দেখুন, মানে ভাল
Mm,
হয়ে যাবা দিয়া, এনেকে চুচ দিলে
exactly.
হ'ল। Hey,
Mm.
assurance too, it's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
We consider
Absolutely. Yeah.
doctors to be like gods, মানে
Mm.
ভগৱানেহে আমাক ভাল কৰি দিব পাৰিব। So in the form of doctors, we consider the doctors as gods. So
Very
এনেকে
true.
চুই ভাল হৈ যাব তেনেকুৱা যেন
Mm.
লাগে।
No, I have seen that myself. I mean, everybody is different, but I've seen that myself. I mean, even now it's nearly 3 years, 10 months since I had my accident. But even now, my patients are still in touch with me. They know I can't prescribe anything because I'm not practicing, but they're still in touch with me. They still say that, I mean, you are the best person we knew, and those sort of things. I mean, best doctor, and there have been so many instances, some of which I have written in the book, and some others. I mean, which it's like you become a part of their lives. You become a
Yes,
part of their lives. So, I mean, I've had so many instances where they would say, "My mom is going to die tonight, most likely. So, can you just come? She wants to see you before she goes." So that sort of thing. Again, I mean, in the West, we treat death in a slightly different way, in a much more, what shall I say, much more matured. I won't say probably matured is not the right word. It's a much more logical way.
okay.
Logical way. So, because we have discussions with patients like where you want to die. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, would you like to die in a hospice in the hospital, or you want to die within your family members in your own home? So those
Okay.
sort of discussions, what I call as advanced decisions. So, but if I go and ask someone in Assam, where do you want to die? I'd probably get beaten up, isn't it? But those are things.
এইটো সোধা নাই অৱশ্যে হয় দেই এইটো কথা কোনো নাই সোধা
So, but that is a very important thing. See,
very
you want to
rational
live your
very
life by
rational
your own will. So
yes
why can't someone die by their own will?
yes
Right.
correct
So it is, if somebody asks me, I will say that I don't want to be resuscitated. It is
mm-hmm.
my own free will that I
Yes.
don't want to be resuscitated and put 1,000 needles in my thing, and lots of tubes, and been kept on a ventilator, and then my family gets billed lakhs of rupees. So that is exactly what is happening, right?
Absolutely.
So
Correct.
there are medical laws which says that you do not resuscitate a patient. So, and we ask the patients, at the end of the day, it's a clinical decision as well. But we ask the patients, would you like to be resuscitated? A cancer
Mm.
patient, when they're at the palliative, so we ask them, would you have you thought about
Mm.
your last moments? It is a very very humbling discussion, and I think that those discussions have made me realize, spirituality in your daily life, you may say it. So those sort of things. So things like, I mean, how would you like to end your last moments? What is it that can I do? Yeah, so those sort of things. And I have had so many patients who have died just holding my hand. They've
Mm.
held my hand, and they've had the last breath. And those are the experiences which helped me in my healing while I was in the hospital, in my own reflections, because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them from both sides of the fence. So I think
True.
those discussions probably will come at some point to our societies as well. Yeah,
Yes, it
it
will
is.
take some time, but it is there, of course. It will happen very soon.
It will happen. It will happen. Yeah. But I know I have been talking more than you are. So,
No, I'm no, I'm always thinking about you, like your life, your inspirational life, and there's so much to learn from you. So actually, I'm learning whatever you are saying now.
we all learn from one another. We all learn from one another, and I think one of the most, I would say, the first thing that you need to do to learn something is to accept that you don't know anything. It
Yes,
is starting from that ground zero. You have to sometimes unlearn to learn. Yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
then you have to leave your ego behind. I think that is one thing I have learned. You are much more qualified. I mean, it is, these are different fields, but you're much more qualified than me. But I would say that it is,
Not at
it
all.
is in the life's learning.
Mm.
You have to
Yes.
leave your ego behind.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that I know everything, then you're never going to learn anything. So we all learn from one another, whether it is a person who is 10 ranks below you, or whether it is somebody who is a peer or something. But I think every conversation, um, every meeting with a person, can bring about a lot of learning.
It's
Uh,
a learning process, actually.
it
It's a
is.
learning.
It is a process. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I've learned in the West is the dignity of labor. Dignity of
Yes.
labor, and that is something I want to talk about here. And I want to hear your views as well. When we first came, so Meghali's who was working as a finance analyst in Delhi, she came and she had to find the first job, and her
Mm-hmm.
first job was to sell, samples of biryani from a rice, from basmati rice, like called tilda rice. So basmati rice মানে biryani banai sample di dukanot thiyo hoy, she had to offer it to customers, and most people would ignore. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
then she worked on a till in the shop, and I really felt very bad. But those experiences helped us. Those experiences really
Yes.
helped us. Yeah,
These are
so
learning experiences. Yes.
yes, exactly. So even now, in my restaurant, I've got four chefs. Four of them are PhD students. All four of them are PhD students. Yeah, so they are doing this as a part time job, sort of thing. Uh, but in India or in Assam, people will say, "Ki dukani hoiso? What are you doing? You being a waiter? This that." Yeah, even I myself have been a waiter. Even yesterday, I was taking orders, but people won't laugh at you. If anything, being
Mm-hmm.
able to work in a McDonald's as a waiter and being able to pay your own expenses is taken as a good thing. So
Absolutely correct.
unlike in India.
Yes, yes. কিন্তু dignity of labor টো মানে ধৰি লওক পুলিচ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্টত সেই বস্তুটো আছে বিকজ পুলিচ অফিচাৰ মানে right from the rank of constable you are considered a police officer. So এতিয়া অৱশ্যে সেই মানে হেৰিটো আছে ৰেংকৰ কাৰণে যিটো regimentation, some the lower rank officers they are actually scared of the seniors, and সেই বস্তুটো it's very bad. Few days back কি হল, not few days, on 8th of April I went to office. My driver wasn't there, so another driver from my office he had to come and pick me up and then drop me off again and at my residence. I was about to close the gate, side of horuk gate khan. I was about to hook the enege maribo launte the bigger gate. He pushed it. It was a sliding gate, and then ইয়াতে লাগি এইখিনি দেখিছা কলা হৈ আছে যে
Mm-hmm.
আঙুলিটো ভাঙি গল
Oh my
আৰু
God. Okay.
এইটো ফাটি পেলাই 8 stitches.
Oh no. Okay.
Immediately it started bleeding like anything, and then he started to cry. I thought, what happened to him? মই মানে দুখ পাইছো যে I couldn't feel that pain then. মানে immediately
Mm-hmm.
একদম ৰঙা হৈ গল, and I asked him what happened, and he was jumping, what have I done, madam, what have I done, he said like that. I said, what happened to you? Then when he came and held my finger like this, then only I realized, oh, it's me, I'm hurt, not him. Then I said, okay, cool, come down. Did I tell you something? It happens, it's just an accident. It can happen to anybody. Don't worry. And he kept on crying for 3 days, at a stretch. Because my finger, it was, fracture hole. এনেকে বান্ধি থাকিবলগীয়া হ'ল. And then third day he came and he said, madam, I cannot sleep. I said, why? Did I tell you anything? He said, no, you didn't tell me because I am feeling guilty. I said, wait, you are just doing your duty and you didn't do it intentionally. It can happen to anybody. So we have to, give them due respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, he's just a driver, but he's not just a driver. He's
Mm.
doing his duty.
He's doing his duty. Yes.
He's serving the society
Mm.
by delegating whatever I have asked him to do. So I can't blame him. I can't say I can't be rough to him. So even the the reserve officer in our office, they started rebuking because of you, madam's hand. I said, stop. When they said ki because of him, I said, don't say like that.
Hmm.
Nobody does that, actually. It's the dignity of labor. We have to respect their dignity of labor.
Absolutely. And as you
Huh.
said, I mean, I hope all officers in all departments have the same sort of enlightenment that you have, because just as you said, I mean, as he just a driver, কিন্তু তুমি ভাবা মানে
Huh.
just like in a watch,
Huh.
our society or the whole police department, for example, is like a clock or a watch,
Yes.
right? That
Huh.
even a small part doesn't function, that means the whole watch will go wrong. It won't
Yes.
give you the right time.
Yes.
So if the driver
Absolutely.
doesn't come on time, pick you up, there's an
Yes.
important course to attend, the whole thing will fall apart.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think
Yes.
that is really important to know, that as
And
much as
it's a two-way process.
it's a two-way process. Yes.
And I have, when we were in the police training college, we were taught something, you have heard about Sam Manexo. Sam Manexo.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
He, one major,
Yeah.
he visited
Manexo was
one,
the army staff chief,
yes,
wasn't he? Yes.
yes, one major in his Kent, he was punishing one constable in the army. Then Sam Manexo asked him what happened. Why did you punish him? He said, he didn't salute me. That constable didn't salute me. I am a major. Then Sam Manexo said, okay, fine. When he salutes you, you have to salute him back. Then he will punish him for 1,000 times saluting to you. So you have to salute him back 1,000 times. So that way, he made him understand that respect is a two-way process. When somebody salutes you, you have to salute him back.
Mhm.
It's not like somebody will salute you and you will just ignore and go away.
Mhm. And
That is
these
the
are really
respect.
facts of life. These are really, I mean, if you have all these Korean serials are very popular nowadays, isn't it? It's a
Yes, yes,
Korean, Japanese, and you see they all bow to each other. Sometimes they
yes,
only keep bowing to each other only for the whole scene. So, but all of those things, they bring in that sort of humbleness in you. They bring in that sort of
yes.
spirituality in you. So spirituality cannot come by reading big books or talking about big things, right? So it is about finding yourself. It is about knowing the real essence of life. It is about understanding these small things.
Yes.
It
And
is
when you
also,
show that, when you give that example, then only you will be given back in return.
yes, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So I think you are so right that it is a two-way process. And
Yes.
again, who knows what the future lies? Yeah, so there might be a time when you might be worse off than that driver. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Isn't
Who
it?
knows?
So
Who
you
knows?
have to remember that if the spoke of the bicycle wheel is up at this point, at the next turn it will be at the lowermost point.
Yes. What goes round comes round.
Comes from, yes. So it is quite important that we do realize these things, but most people don't. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe education will help. Maybe life experiences will help.
Mhm.
That is one of my job now. So, in the sense of going around and giving talks at different platforms. So, where I talk about these life experiences, and when I do talk about life experiences, so rather than saying what discipline means or what
Mhm.
spirituality means, if I tell them an example from my own life, then they can relate it better.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that is what I am trying to do, and I'm sure by your examples there are so many people who are learning from you. And
No.
I personally know, yes, definitely that is why you are so well respected. Then there are many other people who may be shown the respect on the face, but
Mhm.
behind the back they will say different things.
Yes, yes,
Isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So moving on a little bit. So tell me a bit more about how you got into all this spirituality and Sadguru, and that sort of thing. So,
Okay, actually, I'm pious. I was always pious since my
okay,
childhood. So even now, I fast 2 days a week.
very good.
On
Okay.
Wednesday and on Saturdays. I don't eat anything till evening, and then I'll break the fast with something very, light, like sabudana or whatever,
Mm.
vegetable totally, and fruits or something like that. And
So
I have
Meghalaya does that 2 days a week as well. Yeah. So it's a very good cleansing technique. Yes.
not for cleansing purpose,
Yeah, I mean cleansing in the sense of both your mind and body.
absolutely
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was in the districts, only after 2016, I have been, here in Guwahati. Otherwise, I was always, in the other Mufassal districts, smaller districts in Assam, on transfers. And I have been always taking my children with me. Uh, when they were just 8 months old, I had to take them to Gwalpara. I was transferred to Gwalpara, and then keeping them. And in fact, I have been blessed actually, Bhaskar, frankly speaking. When they were born, my cousin brother, he's a gynecologist. I told him, I won't leave the hospital if you don't provide me one nanny. How can I, raise two such small children? And they were premature babies, 7 months old. This little.
Mhm.
So I was so scared. And then he gave me one nanny, and she has been there up to now. She is here even now. And my children call her Ma. She's an old lady, but they call her Ma. And whenever I go out in my district days, when I go out in the night for counterinsurgency operations or for any duties, she will be there, holding both the babies like this and sleep. And when I come back, I can find both the babies, hugging her. So I feel relieved, like she is there. Okay, fine. And in all these things, God has been He has been helping me. And there were so many incidents in the various districts I have been posted to. And specifically in Gwalpara, when I was posted there as additional SP headquarter, there were lots of kidnappings and lots of social activities going on, maybe because it's a contiguous district to Meghalaya, and kidnapping, it happens there, and the Alpha NLA, they all keep those kidnapped victims either in Meghalaya, or they take them to Bangladesh, to Mymensingh district. So I used to pray to God. There is one mandir. When you enter Gwalpara, there is one Solmari temple, Kali temple. And I used to always pray to Ma, and I always ask her to keep me healthy. Rest I will do. The duty I will do. That is upon me. But if I am not healthy, if I feel I become sick, I won't be able to perform. So I always used to pray to God. And whenever a kidnapping happened, I used to pray in my mind, Bhagavan, help kori dia, victim to jate recover koribo paru. Then I will, kobo napai. But I used to, pray, je ekhon horai din. It was like that, And every time I prayed, I can recover the victim. There were so many instances. If you Google, even now, you'll find all those incidents that happened in Gwalpara, like how we used to recover the kidnapped victims, and only because of the blessings of God. I did my best, but there has to be that element, the blessings has to be there. Otherwise, no person can perform in
True.
life.
True. True. I think what you're saying is not just about being pious, but it is about carrying the faith in your heart. Right.
Yes,
So
yes.
it is about the faith. And I think lots of people kind of confuse faith for religion. But
No,
I think it is important to understand, or tell our audience that faith and religion are two different things.
different. It's
So they
different.
are they can overlap a bit, but you
Yes,
can you can have faith without being a religious fanatic,
yes.
right?
You,
Or you can be very religious, but you and have lots of tikas and bindis, but you may not
of
carry the same
course,
faith.
of course. See,
Yeah.
I when we were in Shillong, we used to go visit the churches in the Sundays. My mother, she used to, pack the tiffin, and we four of us, we used to go and sit in the church, and after the, everything, then we used to have the tiffin and come back home. And when we shifted to Guwahati, all my friends, they were Muslim people because we were there in a rented house at Japuri. You know
Mhm.
Japuri?
Yes.
There's a place at Ganesh Guri.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my friends, they were all Muslim. They used to go after school. They used to go at 3 p.m. They used to go for, Arabic lessons inside the masjid. I used to cry. I used to tell my mother, let me also go and study that. You won't be able to believe, that Muazzin, he used to beat up the Muslim children, saying that, look at this Hindu girl, she knows everything. You don't know. And even if you ask me about Kolima, about so many things, I still remember. I still remember the verses, and I still remember all those verses in the church, in the temple. So it's what you said is so correct. Faith is different, religion is different. And I have got tremendous faith in God, in God. And that's why maybe because of that, because of his blessings, I'm able to survive. Although I was targeted thrice by Alpha, I was in their hit list, but I didn't die. It was, divine justice, you can say. When they used to prepare bombs and plant it behind the kitchen of my uh, residence, my quarter, they used to blow up themselves.
Really? Oh
Once that,
my God.
yeah. So four of
You
them
are
died.
one person who should write a book, you know?
Yes,
So
yes. This
you
is
should.
Ekdam, I'm telling you from my heart. Only because of that, only because of God's blessings, I survived. Nothing happened. So many times there were attempts on me, but my PS was there, my saviors, of course, my personal security officers. One was hit on his leg, one was hit here in two separate incidents, of course, but nothing happened to me. I don't say that it happened to them, so I am saved. It was very sad, of course. They had to bear that brunt because of me, but maybe because there were more blessings upon me than
Mhm.
them. I
True,
don't know.
true.
I don't know. But
Yeah. No, I think
somehow,
I
yes.
think it is really really important. I mean, all the fact that you appreciate that is really important, and I think as you said in terms of the blessings, I think
Mm,
I sometimes falter. I know Meghali is very much into God. You know, she does her puja every morning. More so after this has happened, she was again quite faithful. But more so after this has happened,
mm,
then she found her only solace in God. So
yes.
does her
Mm,
fasting, does her prayers twice a day,
mm,
and all of that. So I'm more a silent kind, in the sense that I would pray in my heart every time I sit in the car, every time I start doing something, or so I would do it in my heart. So, but I do carry the faith. But I think I have not been able to get as much strength recently. More so, probably more because although I'm trying to be a source of motivation and inspiration for others, but there sometimes come when where because of so much pain or not being able to sleep night after night, and the worst thing is when it is the kind of problem with the incontinence, needing to get to the toilet 8 9 times at night, sort of thing. So sometimes you just tend to lose it. And so, what's the point of all this? But then I feel there is still that faith which
mm.
keeps you going because
Absolutely,
it
yeah.
gives you the hope. It gives you hope and everything. So, I
Mm,
just wanted to ask you one thing. The fact that you have dealt with so many near deaths. or
Yes.
you've seen uh, the attacks on your life and those sort of things. So, what has that changed your perspective towards life? Has it affected you in any way other than being, of course, you would be worried about your children losing their
Yes.
mom at such a young age. So that is one thing. But other than that, how has it affected you?
Uh, See, Bhaskar, I have seen that from close quarters, very, very close quarters. Once there was, one huge encounter that happened in Krishna area of Gwalpara. We lost one commando because at such time I feel guilty, like I should have been there. I asked them to go because there was a visit, VIP visit. So I asked the team to go, and I said, I'll be following you. I had to attend to that VIP visit, and I had that input that four or three cadres are taking shelter in certain place. So I sent the team, and after that, the huge encounter ensued. And when I reached the place, the firing was on, and the dead body of the commando, his name was Sopan Roy, he was there. His dead body was there. One Alpha Kader was also there. His body was also there. And I still feel like maybe if I would have been there, it might not have happened. There are such times when you feel guilty, and I don't know. It makes you very sad at such times. But what can I say? There are such times, and
Yeah, I mean, I
the
think
first time, yes, the first time, when it happens, then you have that fear of losing your life. First time, প্রথমবারে মানে ভয় লাগে. After that, you don't have that fear. তাৰ পিছৰ আৰু সেই মানে চিন্তাটো গুচি যায়. The
Mhm.
only thing that about which I am scared is about the children. And when I was there in the districts, there were reports from the national intelligence agencies that there will be some attacks upon the children also. So then I get, agitated. মানে মোক কি কৰিব পাৰো কৰ না, বাচ্চাবোৰক কিয় চাও? They identified the school, they identified their, the timings. And then I had to keep my children in Guwahati for so many months. Then as a mother, you feel that pain. When
Mm.
I had to, jiman deri holeo, when I go back home, I see their faces, I forget all the tiredness. But when you go back to your residence, to your quarter, and see the empty spaces, your children are far away from home, from your, they were so small. মাক হিচাপে মোৰ মানে চুব অকমান টাচ কৰিব পালেও ভাল লাগে.
Okay.
যেতিয়া দূৰত থৈ দিছিলো, when they were in Guwahati, then I felt that I have to do something. And then I started the cleansing work. Cleansing, I won't elaborate upon that. And then I became the target of, Alpha. But see, there is no Alpha now.
Mm.
They have all surrendered. They have all surrendered, and those who have not surrendered, they are in the ceasefire camps. And the rest, they are just a myth, you can say. Who is
The
following?
same alphas became alphas, and then Gupta
Yes,
Ghataks and killing their own colleagues and
yes.
all sorts of things.
Uh, I
So
cannot
we
end about
won't get
that.
into that because that will change the essence of the whole interview, whole conversation. But that is something to talk about at a different point.
Yes,
But what you have brought about is I think this is really important, and I want to put this part actually even separately as well, not just as a part of this interview, because The general feeling what people think when you talk about police usually means trouble, right? So for anyone, so and nobody actually realizes the things that goes on behind the scenes. It's
Yes.
not that every policeman is just takes bribes, or every policeman
No,
just
no,
goes
not
around
that.
wielding a
Yes.
danda and all that. So what you mentioned here, the impact of policing, or taking up this as not just as a bread and butter profession, but also as a vocation, as
Yes.
the impact it has had on you as a mother, being away from the children and all of this. So I think this is something which people should really know. It is
Yes.
very important, and I perhaps you haven't spoken about this in such length to anybody
Yes.
else. I don't know, but
Never.
I'm really grateful that you have shared these things,
Mm.
because this is important for people to know, so because there are stereotypes, right? So whether it's police, whether it's doctors, whether but also there are lots of other things, when they say doctor, oh, hey, this guy must be very rich. But
Mm.
what is the kind of sacrifices that a doctor has made for the
Much
training
more.
that they have undergone? As So similarly, I'm so touched by all the things that you have said in terms of your work as a police officer. So one of the important thing here that we need to highlight is that there is no gender inequality here. You are not, being a woman, you are not doing anything less. If anything, you're probably doing more
Yes.
so, because you have been doing the role of a daughter-in-law, a wife, a mom, and on top of that you are being a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
And our
uh,
police headquarter is also very much liberal in that sense. Like, of course, the Assamese society believes
yes,
in
so
gender
that is one
equality.
thing good about Assam. Yes. So gender
I
equality.
was always sent to all those trouble districts. Instead of some male officer, they choose me and send me to those trouble districts. So in that way, I feel proud of myself because they have got that faith in me. That's why they are sending me to those
Mhm.
places. So Assam Police Headquarters, it's actually different than other states. I don't know about other states. Once I met a few police officers from Kashmir in a conference of women in police. So they, in that open platform, they started, saying that they have been given some soft postings, not given field postings. So I was, so much proud of myself. And I said openly that our police headquarters is different. It's unlike yours. Our
That's
society, of
really good.
course, is
That's
different.
fantastic. That's fantastic to know. In fact, I myself didn't know, and therefore I suppose many other people don't know about
Mhm.
that. Breaking the stereotypes.
Yes, yes.
The other thing which you mentioned about, do let me know about the time, yeah. So because if you have got any
No,
other
no,
things to
it's
do,
okay.
so let me
It's
know,
okay.
because it
I'm
must be nearing
learning
the dinner
actually
time
from
as
you.
well. Thank you.
Very nice
So
getting to know you.
because you did mention one another important aspect, that the first time you were worried about your life, about being dead,
Mhm.
afterwards that fear went away.
Yes.
As for me, I've never been really scared about death. I've actually been very fascinated about death. And I remember I think I was in class 8 or 9 when I submitted my first poem to Sunday Sentinel. When they used to the print poems. Yeah, and I
Mhm.
got paid. Was it 100 rupees or something for my poem being printed about? And it was something about death, how life will be after death.
Mhm.
And I think it was the editor, Mr. Senapati, I think he was, or somewhere. I'm talking 35 years ago, right? So,
Mhm.
so he actually called me to his office to say, why, as a young boy, have you written about death?
Mhm.
And I used to tell him that because it is something that no one knows. So I would love to know what it is.
Mhm.
I've never been scared about that.
Mhm.
But one thing which always scared me was to be half dead, you know,
Mhm.
half dead, being paralyzed. More so because maybe I've seen my father. in that state for 21 years
mm,
on a wheelchair. And the only thing I ever wished for was that Megali's life should not be like my mom's, being a carer. No, because that's what my mom did. So for 21 years, she just became his carer, and she never complained.
mm,
And I saw my dad how he suffered. Always missing the freedom. And
mm,
I just hope that if I die, I just die. I don't become half dead. But that is exactly what happened. So you become half dead in a way, but not now. I won't say I'm half dead now, but going through those times in the hospital, so 7 almost 7 months in the hospital, from one hospital to another. So I think that is one thing. If you fear something the most, that usually ends up happening anyway. So as the law of attraction says. So, but that is one thing. I've never been afraid of that, and I don't think anybody should be really afraid of that. So, because once they're
actually,
gone, right? So,
yes, actually, like the fear of death, of not about my death. If I die, what will happen to my children? The
that's
only faces I see when there is an encounter, there are exchange of fires. The only faces, the first time, of course, I see are those my children's faces.
that is very true. I completely agree. I mean, I have had instances where I just
After that, yes.
wanted to commit suicide, or where I just wanted to just hit the next car, sort of thing, so that would be the easy way out, rather than being in pain day in day out. And when I'm talking about pain, I'm talking about taking 16 to 20 tablets every single day. That
Hmm.
is what my life is now.
Think
So
about your children.
yeah, so it is. I then see, and one of the occasions when that was probably when it reached the highest point of the suicidal ideation. So I mean, just
Hmm.
wanted to die, and then I saw just my younger daughter's face, and
Hmm.
then I realized how foolish this is. I mean, you cannot just be a coward and escape,
Yes,
sort of
yes.
thing. So, but yeah, so it is definitely them, but at the same time it is also true that they have their own destiny as well.
Of
if
course,
it
they
is
have,
if it is written in their destiny that they will have to have a different kind of life, then you and I cannot do anything.
but you cannot flee. You cannot flee. You cannot leave yourself from their destinies.
True, true, absolutely. Yeah, you cannot free it at all, and especially I think as Asian parents, we have that thing that we live for our next generation.
Yes,
Our
yes.
parents lived for us, we live for our children will live for their own. I
Yes,
don't know, they may change because ChatGPT will say something different. But or artificial intelligence will say something different. But that's how we have been, culturally, genetically, that's what we have been, right? So our priority is our children, to make sure that they have good education, they have a good life. So so I think we do our best, but it is true. It is important to realize, because, and I'm only discussing this because I have been, almost, I've had a compulsive obsession sort of thing about family security. I always had this an OCD about
mm,
family security, that whatever happens, because I went through some bad experiences when my father had the stroke and all, so I didn't want my children to have it, so I got into this money making thing. So I have to earn as much as possible, save as much as possible, sort of thing. But now I kind of realize that the best thing you can give your children is your time, and a good education, and good
yes.
good uh,
Hmm.
good character, and make them
Absolutely.
as independent as possible.
Hmm.
But money wise and all, you cannot do much. I mean, they have their own destiny, and they will have to fight their own battles. You can
Yes,
only, as a father, as me as a father, or you as a mother, you can, at the most, you can provide them with some cushions to cushion their fall.
yes. I
Yeah.
always tell them, I
Yeah.
will provide
So
you food and good education and medical, whatever like
yeah.
requirement.
Yeah.
Rest, my money is my money. You won't get a dime from my money.
That's true. So I recently went to Riyadh. So we recently went to Riyadh, and so a friend of my friend is there. So a friend, so he told me one thing. Say, "अरे पूत कपूत तो क्या धन संचय, पूत सपूत तो क्या धन संचय." So basically, if they are good, you don't have to worry about them anyway monetarily. And if they're bad, then however much you save for them, they are gonna blow it away anyway. So there's no point. So I think that is, it is
That's true.
important, not just children, it is just important that everyone has to fight their own battles.
Yes,
We
yes.
can only empathize and help one another, but I cannot fight your battle, you cannot fight mine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have got our own destinies. So the children also, they have got their own
Their
destinies.
own destiny. Exactly.
Even though my children, they are twins, but both of them, I tell them, you live your own life because, and of course, they are absolutely different from one another.
Mm-hmm.
Though they are twins, their natures are different. So that suggests, that infers that their destinies are different.
True. True.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, no, it is very, again, I think it is, it's just important to know about these small things in life, isn't it? It makes such a huge difference in our whole outlook, and I think then we don't remain slaved to the material world. Of course, I think earning money, earning your bread and butter is important, if
Yes.
not for you, but for your children.
Hmm.
But if we just go by what we want, if we just go by needing to have a bigger house than the next door, having a bigger car than the next person, uh, just showing off your, I mean,
There is no
some
end
people,
to
there are
it.
always some people who want to show off more than they know, right? So whether it's in a small group or in a big group, that sort of thing. But usually, the wisest person is the one who talks the least and last.
True.
Yes. So if we can make ourselves or evolve ourselves into that, then perhaps we can become better person than what we were yesterday.
Yes.
You already are. You already are.
No, I'm learning. I'm learning.
I think
But I'm a good learner,
you
actually,
are a
you
good
know.
learner. I mean, you are extraordinary to be able to top the APSC exam and then go on to from agriculture to LLB to a PhD to LLM to, my God. But more than that, you are a good person. That is the most important thing. I think
That's
you've
very
learned to be a good
important.
human being.
Yes, I always tell my children also, whatever happens to your lives, like in about the jobs, is a different matter altogether. But be good human beings. I
Mhm.
want both of you to be good human beings.
Absolutely.
Empathize, people, be like, at least so that people say ki ভাল মানে ভাল মানুহ ভাল মানুহ
Exactly.
হবি
Yes.
ভাল মানুহ
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that is more important বাকীটো চব কপালত ন
বাকি আৰু পইচা and all this will come and go. There's no, I mean, I started from rags, went up the riches, then I lost everything, came back to rags and trying to rebuild up again. So this is a cycle that
this is
that
a side
will never go away. So tell me, what books are you reading now, or what kind of books you like to read?
এতিয়া পঢ়ি আছো মই তুমি হাঁহিবা শুনিলে that's notebook
Okay, that's notebook. Okay, brilliant. Okay.
এইবোৰ বাচ্চাৰ কিতাপ ইহঁতৰ পৰা লৈ পেলাই পঢ়ি আছো মানে যি লিখে সেইটো সঁচা হৈ যায় তাৰমানে সেইটো
Okay.
কিতাপখন
মই এখনৰ কথা মানে I've heard about it, but I didn't know it was a children's book.
ইহঁতি পঢ়ে আৰু মইও পঢ়িছো এইকাৰণে ভাল লাগে
Okay.
পঢ়ি
বাকী
অলপ পঢ়িছো
কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কিতাপ পঢ়া? What sort of books do you read?
আগতে খুব ফিকশন পঢ়িছিলো আজিকালি নপঢ়ো আজিকালি মানে এইবোৰ ভাল লাগে আৰু যিবোৰ ধৰি লোৱা লাইফ ষ্টৰিজ আৰু তুমি হেৰি পঢ়িছানে কি কয় এই অঘৰা
নাই পঢ়া।
অঘৰা পঢ়িবাচোন
Okay.
খুব ভাল
অসমীয়া
লাগিব
কিতাপ নে ইংলিছৰ?
ইংলিছ
Okay.
ইংলিছ ৰবাৰ্ট চবধাই লিখিছিলে মানে
Right.
তেওঁ ব্ৰিটিছ আছিলে তেওঁ ইণ্ডিয়াত আহি পেলাই হাউ হি গট এনলাইটেনমেণ্ট মানে তেওঁ এজন স্বামীৰ আণ্ডাৰত মানে তেওঁ
Right. Okay.
মানে
I will definitely look it up. I'll definitely look it up. মই just start কৰিছো. I listen to a lot of audiobooks actually. মানে মোৰ for whatever reason I cannot read books very much. I can write, but I cannot read that much. I really like listening to audiobooks, and that's what I do when driving or sitting in the car. Instead of music, I listen to books. So as of now, I am doing this man's seek for meaning, or what is it called? With man's, it's a very very famous book to me. Psychology, Erik Kursal, you must have heard about this book, Man's Search for Meaning by Peter
মেন
Frankl. So he was basically one of the Auschwitz survivors.
ওকে
Uh, so and what he wrote became fundamental theories of psychology. So সেইখন পঢ়ি আছো. So yeah, so I think I also read lots of self-help books. I read a lot of inspirational books. I read particularly books about people with disabilities who have made some their life into something successful. So motivational books and all, and I find them really good. My favorite author is Michael Morpurgo. Also, his most famous book is War Horse. So you must have heard about War Horse. So Michael Morpurgo is someone you can look into reading because his books are very visualizing. So both anything he writes, he just portrays the whole picture as a painting. So very good. So that is something. But otherwise, any books, please recommend. So we'd like to read because I think
অখৰাখন পঢ়িবা দেই ভাল
Bora.
লাগিব
Yeah, sure, I will.
খুব
Sure.
ভাল লাগে ভাল লাগে
Becky, how's life and friendships, and you probably don't get time to socialize and meet people.
ভাস্কৰ আই ডোন্ট socialize মোৰ এটা মানে প্ৰব্লেম আছে মই আগৰ পৰাই আই ডোন্ট এটেণ্ড পাৰ্টিজ মোৰ ইমান বছৰ হ'ল 20 years of my service 21 চলি আছে I have never attended a single party in the police headquarters.
So it must have been a great, great, great occasion for you to come the other day to my launch.
Yeah, সেইটো বেলেগ কথা So, see, মানে ফ্ৰেণ্ডৰ তুমি মাতিছা মোৰ ফ্ৰেণ্ডৰ কাৰণে যোৱাটো সেইটো বেলেগ কথা আৰু that was a different gathering. It was not a party.
It was not a party now.
It was not a party. কি জানি অলপমান কিবা শিকিবই পাৰো বা seriously because you are an inspiration to everybody. So মই গৈছো যে maybe দুটা শব্দও যদি শিকো কি জানি মই এইখিনি লৈ পেলাই মোৰ লাইফত কিবা চেঞ্জ আনিব পাৰো বা
That is so kind of you. Now, Hindakhanor Kindu, regarding that particular event, I've had feedback from so many people. They all said that it was a different kind of event, getting people around the table, getting them to do some homework, some classwork, and getting everyone to give feedback instead of, getting the VIPs to talk and ministers to talk and everybody listening. So I've had lots of feedback from lots of people. Yeah, they found it really useful. So that brings me, actually, that just reminds me, as you know, that we have started this, and now actually Mary is so Bidut has left. So Bidut has left, and I had to change quite a few people. So now Mary is the other. She is the second partner. So she is the managing director of this. So basically, she is the main person now. মই খালি ইয়াৰ পৰা মই অলপ কিবা strategy কৰি আছো. So Mary has also invested some monies and all that. So and then we want to do it as a not-for-profit organization with particular focus on children from Assamese medium. And not just Assamese medium, but children from interior areas and smaller towns. Because people from Guwahati, they have enough. they get enough opportunities,
famous
but
in
others
our
don't. So is there anything you would say how we should proceed? Any message for us? Any message for the student?
Bhaskar মইহে শিকি আছো তোমালোকৰ পৰা মই আৰু কি কম I am still a
No, no,
learner.
I think it's particularly for somebody who has seen so much life and who have been so successful. Your message is going to be very important for any aspirant to civil services or any children, any student. So, would just want to hear from you what you would suggest for them.
ইণ্টাৰনেটত পঢ়াতকে কিতাপ পঢ়িব লাগে what I feel মানে মই কেনেকে প্ৰিপেয়াৰ কৰিছিলো তেতিয়াতো ইণ্টাৰনেটো নাই
Mm-hmm.
কিতাপ নাই মোৰ আছিলে
So this is
অপচনেল
regarding civil services.
চিভিল চাৰ্ভিচ
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ আৰু ছচিয়লজি
Yeah.
ছচিয়লজি আছিলে এইটোতো মই নাজানোৱে কি ছচিয়লজি চাবজেক্ট আৰু গুৱাহাটী ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি ছচিয়লজি নাছিলে তো এইকাৰণে ডিব্ৰুগড় ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ আকৌ ইংলিছ কিতাপ নাই ছচিয়লজি মই
Okay.
আকৌ সেই অসমীয়াখন আনি পেলাই আকৌ ট্ৰান্সলেট কৰি নোট বনাইছিলো নোট
Right.
বনাও মানে BA লেভেলৰ সেইখনৰ পৰা আকৌ ট্ৰান্সলেট কৰি নোট বনাই বনাই পঢ়িছিলো আৰু ধৰি লোৱা ফৰ জেনেৰেল ষ্টাডিজ এই আছাম ট্ৰিবিউনৰ যোনটো এডিটৰিয়েল পেজ থাকে সেইখন ভালকে পঢ়িব লাগে সব ল'ৰা ছোৱালী পঢ়িব লাগে ইভেন আই টেল মাই চিলড্ৰেন এইখন পঢ়িবি আৰু সব পঢ়ি পেলাইতো মূৰত সোমাই নাথাকে পাহৰি যোৱা যায় That's why I used to do মানে মই পেপাৰ কাটিং কৰো কৰি সেইখিনি কাটি এখন বহি ৰেজিষ্টাৰ বহি এখনৰ আঠা মাৰি থওঁ আৰু এখন ইনডেক্স বনাও ইনডেক্সত পেজ নাম্বাৰ দি পেলাই ধৰি লোৱা এইটো টপিক পেজ নাম্বাৰ 5ত আছে এইটো টপিক পেজ নাম্বাৰ 10ত আছে তেনেকে মানে লগে লগে মানে তুমি ধৰি লোৱা কিবা পঢ়িব মন গৈছে তোমাৰ ধৰি লোৱা স্পেচ প্ৰগ্ৰাম ইণ্ডিয়াৰ স্পেচ প্ৰগ্ৰাম তো তেনেকে ধৰি লোৱা মই যদি এক ছেকেণ্ড ইণ্ডিয়াৰ স্পেচ প্ৰগ্ৰাম যদি পঢ়িব লাগে মানে যদি আছে অলৰেডি পেপাৰ কাটিং মই এইটো ইনডেক্সত চালো চাই পঢ়িলো বিৰাট ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট কিতাপ পঢ়িব লাগে অফকোৰ্স আমি এতিয়া সেয়া পুৰাণা জামানাৰ কথা কলে নহব আৰু দিয়াচোন নতুন মানে জেনেৰেশ্যন আহিছে
Mm.
you have grab this also opportunity ইমান
Yeah.
খিনি
But you're right.
everything
You have to read the main text. No, you cannot just go by flashcards and notes.
কিন্তু
আজিকালিতো চবে আৰু মানে এইবোৰ একাডেমি বিলাকত জাষ্ট মানে ৰিপিট কুৱেশ্যনছ এণ্ড মানে প্ৰিপেয়াৰ চল্ভ পেপাৰ্ছ এইবোৰ দিয়ে অকল সেইবোৰ দিতো নহব
কিন্তু তাৰ লগতে এতিয়া এই মানে সেইখিনি ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ ধৰি লোৱা যিবোৰ ব্ৰড কুৱেশ্যনছ আছে সেইখিনি বাৰু তুমি পেপাৰৰ পৰা পঢ়িলা কিন্তু যিবোৰ তোমাৰ মানে কাৰেণ্ট এফেয়াৰ্ছ সৰু সৰু কুৱেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে শৰ্ট ধৰি লোৱা অবজেক্টিভ টাইপৰ কাৰণে সেইবোৰৰ কাৰণেতো কিন্তু বিৰাট ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট তুমি মানে এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ এটা কিবা কোচিঙৰ ধৰি লোৱা এটা তুমি ছাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰিলা যিকোনো কোচিং ইনষ্টিটিউট এতিয়া তোমাৰটো এস্পায়াৰ দ্যাটছ হোৱাট ইউ আৰ ডুইং ন তোমালোকে এইখিনিতো ফ্ৰীত দি আছা নমিনেল যিটো ধৰি লোৱা এইখিনি মানে দে শুড গ্ৰেব দিছ অপৰচুনিটি আই ষ্টিল ফিল কি আমাৰ সময়ত এইবোৰ কিয় নাছিলে থাকিলেতো আৰু মানে জানিলো হয় বহুত খিনি জানিলো হয় একো নাই তেতিয়া সেই সময়ত পেপাৰৰ বাহিৰে কম্পিটিশন সাকসেস ৰিভিউৰ বাহিৰেতো আৰু একো নাই
competition success review. I remember that. Yes.
ফ্ৰন্ট লাইন কম্পিটিশন সাকসেস ৰিভিউ এইকেইখনে আৰু নহলে মনোৰমা ইয়াৰ বুক আৰু একো নাই আজিকালিতো মানে the world is in your hands
Yeah, in fact, it's gone the other way. When there's so much information, it's difficult to know which is the real one.
কিন্তু মানে it has to be মানে extensive study এটাত লাগি থাকিলে নহব আৰু এক্সটেন্সিভ ষ্টাডি হ'বৰ কাৰণে you have to take the help of internet ইমানটো কিতাপ ক'ত পাবা ইমান কিতাপ নাপাবা ন
কিন্তু ইন্টাৰনেটতো বিচাৰিব কেনেকে লাগে হেতুও জানিব লাগিব নহয় জানো you cannot just google everything মানে randomly so you have to know.
fake news এদিটো ভৰ্তি
Exactly, yeah.
খিনিটো তুমি মানে unverified হলেতো লাভে নাই
unverified, so that is becoming a bigger problem, the fake news, the infodemic, that is becoming a bigger problem. So I will actually মানে এজনী ছোৱালী আছে যাক we financially sponsor a group of people মানে মই, Mary, Anindita, Then Bhaskar আৰু এটা ভাস্কৰ আছে ন ইউএছত থাকে সি তেনেকে couple of them জ্যোতিৰ্ময়ো আছে কিজানি so Meghali Bordhakur so she has cleared her APSC prelims so তাই মোক so I try and help her out a little bit in terms of motivation and then also মানে other than financially আৰু যি পাৰো so
Nice.
তাই মোক আজি সুধিছিলে মানে how to write মানে এতিয়া 1.5 মাহে আছে for the mains so how to prepare so I'll give her these points but at some point মানে মই এবাৰ তাইক হয়তো তোমাৰ যদি সময় হয় তেতিয়াহ'লে এবাৰ কথা পাতিবলৈ কৰিম so otherwise I'm trying to help her in terms of how to structure your answers you know
Yes.
your introduction body conclusion that sort of thing say সেইবোৰলৈ কৰি আছো মই নিজে কিন্তু মোক সদায় মোৰ টিচাৰ্ছ খিনিয়ে দে অলৱেজ টু আস্ক মি or told me to appear for civil services but I knew that I was not cut out to work for others I always had this thing yeah, I will do my own thing not because I am not a team player or whatever I am very much that because I had 52 people and employed in my clinics and now I have got 16 people in the restaurant so I do that কিন্তু সেই মই মানে পলিটিচিয়ানৰ কথা শুনিব যে মানে পাৰিম সেইটো মোৰ নাছিলে মানে I would have been probably uh, had a transfer every couple of months so, but you are doing fantastically well so and I really value all the things that we have spoken and hopefully learn from one another
Yes, yes.
so both খিনি হেৰি কৰিলো and I pray that we have another conversation like this
Sure, sure.
in a little while মানে আৰু next few weeks and you should definitely write a book probably it might be under মানে এতিয়া হয়তো কিবা constraint থাকিব পাৰে that you cannot write while you are in service but
নাই লিখিলে ধৰি লোৱা নিজৰ জীৱনী টাইপৰ বুঢ়া বয়সত লিখিম ভাবিছো আৰু এতিয়া মই হেৰিত আছাম ট্ৰিবিউনত লিখো
okay
আছাম ট্ৰিবিউনৰ মই এডিটৰিয়েল পেজত এই কিবা মানে ধৰি লোৱা টপিক বোৰ কিছুমান
okay
মানে যিবোৰ ধৰি লোৱা ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট টপিক এইবোৰ মানে
লিখিবলৈ that's very important in fact that then so এতিয়া মই তোমাক আৰু এটা কথা ৰিকুৱেষ্ট কৰিব লাগিব then so Mary and I have launched an e-magazine called Life Etc. So I don't know if you knew about that or not. So it's a e-magazine. So it's a multi-author platform. So mainly for people মানে যাৰ ধৰা কোনো পাব্লিকেশ্যন তেনেকৈ হোৱা নাই বা also some good people have written there. So we publish it and it is primarily for the international audience. So Indiaru বহুতে পঢ়ে but it's for international audience and it can be any topic. So and hence the name Life etc. So if you can spare a few lines just put it as a blog or something যদি তাৰ যি editing কৰিবলৈ I will do it so you just send it email it to me WhatsApp it to me any topic you want to write and I think that will give a lot of মানে আজি এইটো যিটো আমি কথা পাতিলো ধৰা মানে how you had been facing bullets and thinking about your children at the same time so those sort of things will make a huge difference will make a
I
huge
will write
difference it will all be under your name so I'll be very privileged to print those things বাকি in terms of জীৱনী যেতিয়া তেতিয়া লিখিবা আৰু but yeah make sure that you do bring this into light because it is not just I mean I don't think you can become rich by writing a book my book has been downloaded 60,000 more than 60,000 now across 27 countries into the royalty is still hardly anything so you cannot become rich but it will be a service to the society people will know people probably will have a completely new idea about what policing is about what Assam police is মানে Assam police বুলিলে যে ৰঙা টুপি পিন্ধা থুলা মামা বুলি কয় আমাৰ এই আগতে নহয় জানো so it's not that it's not
it's
that
not
there are some really good people and while on this I'll take the opportunity to thank those people as well so there were more father-in-law he passed away he fell down in the bathroom and he suddenly passed away.
Kitia.
Somehow the way it happened, given I was there in Guwahati, and
Mm,
that whole day I was talking with him. I knew that he wasn't very well, and so one of our classmates treated him, but treated him in a wrong way, so was misdiagnosed. So I won't say the name, but yeah, but he's quite reputed as a doctor. So anyway, so he died of heart failure, but he fell down in the bathroom, and then we have to therefore had to go for a post-mortem and everything. And Meghalaya had to be called over. So তাই ৰাতিৰ ভিতৰতে মানে বাচ্চা ইহঁতক লৈ ইহঁতখিনি সৰু সৰু আছিলে তেনেকে লৈ মেলি গৈছে কৰিছে. So while I was there, and the post-mortem of obviously takes time, and everybody was like, "Paisa dibo laibo, police ok titiya hai
mm,
hobo this that." And there was this guy from Bhorlomuk Thana. So there were two guys, and he was just running here and there all the time. From morning till even he was telling me, and maybe also the fact that he saw me in my state with crutches and coming from London and that sort of thing, that may have also affected him. So he was doing his best, and at the end of it, I put thousand rupees into his pocket. I tried to give it to him, he didn't. I gave 1,000 rupees to his pocket, and he actually returned the money back to me,
mm,
saying that বেলেগৰ পৰা পইচা লৈছো কেতিয়াবা ছাৰ কিবা কৰিছো আপোনাৰ পৰা এজন মৰা মানুহৰ কাৰণে পইচা ল'ব নোৱাৰো
mm,
and I really felt that
mm.
there are good people around.
Of course, of
So
course.
So I think the message is that not every police is bad, not every doctor is bad. Similarly, not every doctor or police is good. So, but if you are a good human being, irrespective of wherever you are, you will still remain good,
Yes, yes.
isn't it? So, irrespective of whatever
Mm,
profession, and one thing we do wrong is to generalize and stereotype it.
mm,
So, not everyone is Rosie Kalita, of course, but
mm.
people like Rosie Kalitas are there as well. So
Of
I think
course. Mm,
that is the message, and I really thank you for your time. We've spoken for nearly 2 hours, and it's been
yeah.
incredible. It's been incredible that I mean, for me, it is now nearly 4 o'clock. So my evening will just start because I'll have to go to the restaurant now. But you have had a hard day and you still gave me time. So thank you very, very much. And ladies and gentlemen, our viewers. So here it is, Dr. Rosie Kalita, one of the top cops in Assam, my hometown. We've been very good friends, and it just been a special conversation, which I'm sure you will also feel if you've heard the whole thing. And yeah, I just don't have any words really. So thank you once again so much. So just the last couple of lines from you, please.
Bhaskar, I have learned so much from you. Uh, let people learn from you. Whatever you have been spreading to now, the messages, let
Thank
it be
you.
spread to further uh, dimensions. Aru, there is no shortcut to success. You are a successful person today, but you are also a struggler initially. Now therefore you are now settled, such a successful businessman, successful doctor, a good husband, and it doesn't need any effort. You just have to be you.
Very true. You just have to be you. You don't have to be
That
somebody else. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Because
all.
being anybody else is a
Mm,
mask, is a
yes.
facade, right? So
Mm,
you just have to be you. Yes.
yes. Mm.
Very wise words. Thank you. And I wish the same for you as well. So you are not only successful, you are I don't have any words really. You are just beyond words. So you're just beyond words. So I hope that your children and many other children learn from you. Many other police officers take you as an inspiration of not just how to be a police officer, but also the humility, the
That is more
wisdom,
important.
and all of that. So I wish you well, and I wish the whole police force, Assam police force, well, and I wish my countrymen well as well, my countrymen and countrywomen, because now is the time for India.
Mhm.
Now is the time for our homeland to show what it is, coming out from 300-400 years of slavery and all that. So, but we have to look after ourselves. We have to take pride in what we do, and we have to take pride of being an Indian, being an Assamese, and only then others will take pride on us, isn't it?
Yes,
So, so with
absolutely.
those words, I thank you once again, and yeah, look
Thank
forward to talking to you again.
thank
So,
you so much.